start off with you. And Pakistan is such an interesting economy. It's emerging. There are a lot of exciting elements to the economy, but you also have a lot of macroeconomic issues right now. I was looking at how many people use cash in Pakistan, and it's still dominant. Around 40% is still cash. What are you going to do to change that? And is it on your priority list? I know that you're new as finance minister, 6 weeks on the job. Is this something that's on your to-do list?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And it's a pleasure to be here. As you mentioned, macroeconomic issues are there, but we have entered this year on a much better note than we were this time last year. All the macroeconomic variables are moving in the right direction, but certainly we need to bring in more macroeconomic stability and more permanence in it as we go forward. But coming back to your question, it is indeed a big challenge. We have 10 trillion rupees cash in circulation in the country at the moment, and if you compare it to our annual revenue budget, that's about 9.4 trillion rupees. So it's almost, half of the economy is in that undocumented sector. So
that's the informal sector, essentially.
Correct.
Yeah.
So from our perspective, we need to reimagine our economy the way other countries have done, with the help of get onto the digital solutions, and we have two important pillars. We have the national identification being supported by NADRA, and we have a real-time payment system called RAST. And these are two important pillars through which we can actually start moving towards sort of documenting the economy through digital solutions. As we speak, actually on Friday, I signed an agreement with McKinsey. They are going to come in and actually help us with end-to-end digitalization of our tax authority. So they'll work on the design and they'll work on the implementation side as well. But to answer your question, it is a huge, huge priority for us as we go forward.
Fantastic. I would like to ask Omer, who also, with your company, Abhi, you have operations in Pakistan, Bangladesh, in the UAE, and you're going to be launching in Saudi as well?
Correct.
And just listening to the minister, that it is a priority, digitalization and the fintech space is vital. But because you're doing it, I want you to give me a sense of how difficult it is for mass adoption in a country like Pakistan.
Yeah, so we've been around for about 3.5 years now and started our business in Pakistan. And the biggest reason why we went in is we believe the democratization of payments only happens when you have essentially zero fee being implemented, which then causes mass adoption. So you look at UPI in India, you look at Pix in Brazil. This is something that Rast is trying to do in Pakistan at the moment, because the truth of the matter is that when you go to a stall and someone who's working on the street, they typically prefer cash over, and cash is actually the most frictionless transaction over digital. However, what we focus on is much more on the credit-led, because if you ask the average person what they need credit. They don't need an easy way to pay another person.
And to get credit, you need data, and you need to know your customer.
Exactly. So we're a credit-led fintech, so our focus has always been provide credit as a means for you to create mass adoption, as opposed to forcing payments on individuals, because that's not really that's not fixing a pain point. The pain point is I can't pay someone else. That's not what they're complaining about. Their complaint is I don't have enough cash in my pocket for me to be able to increase my lifestyle. And so our focus across our geographies, and Pakistan specifically, and where we've been able to push adoption, has been being a credit-first solution in that geography.
Fantastic. Blythe,
Can
yes.
I just do 30-second intervention? I think he's absolutely right. As if the latest figures I have is there are roughly 700,000 SMEs and about 6 million farmers who are being offered credit through digital solutions. But this absolutely needs to be scaled up as we go forward. With a population of 250 million people, and unfortunately still growing at the rate that we are growing, this is just the start. So Mayor is absolutely right.
Yeah, exactly. And to be able to offer those farmers credit, you need to know who they are. Yes. Minister, you need to have data on them. You need to know that they're going to be paying back, which, sort of like a cycle that we need to focus on. So Blythe, I want you to jump in here. You want to jump in?
I just want to say I respectfully slightly disagree with my brother, because there's always this debate between, having a level playing field between the banks and the telcos who are coming in, because while everyone is compliant, but the compliance standards for banking or traditional banking institutions, KYC, AML, sanctions, transaction monitoring, is at a very, very different level.
Capital adequacy ratios, and things like that. We'll touch on. I just want to get Amna to jump in here. We haven't heard from you yet. I want you to give me in here.
No, I think I agree with what is being said there in terms of the role which is played with the help of data and data analytics, and actually understanding the value chains and supply chains, and how that behavioral stuff then actually gets back into algorithmic learning. So I think the model that's being discussed here, although I do think the traditional banks are also moving in terms of financial inclusion, but wholesale lending into the fintechs, and then fintechs going in for certain segments which are underserved and unserved. I think makes
And
sense.
you want easy access. If we're talking about the farmers in Pakistan, you don't want them to go to a branch somewhere brick and mortar. You want them to have that accessibility on their phones or something far easier, and fintech solutions play a big role in that, Amna.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I started a different debate altogether instead of answering your question. So I think there are a couple of things that I would talk about very quickly. So first is fintech solutions are very, very scalable, but in this particular region, you have to prioritize the markets, right? When people say it's one Africa, it's technically not one Africa. So if you take Kenya as an example, where we do a lot of work, right? M-Pesa has leapfrogged a lot of things, but
And
also
it failed in South Africa, by the way.
absolutely, but also the regulator allowed a telco-led model.
Because you mentioned the man with the oranges, and I've spoken to so many women that sell fruit and vegetables, for them it's critical. And I don't want to get into sort of debating that, but I'm just saying, like, we have to think about what it's going to mean to move the informal sector to the formal sector, Minister, and that's the reality. And while we can talk about all these amazing solutions and talk about it in the comfortable space we're in right now, these people have very different realities. So how do we get them on at mass scale?
And I think I would like to echo what Amna just said, that it's, we think digital adoption is mobile first and all these fancy solutions, but one of the most vulnerable segments in Pakistan is where we make cash disbursements to women. It's under the Benazir Income Support Program. And it's unfortunate, but that's the reality on ground, that they don't want all cash coming to them, which is given by the government, because they say the moment you give us cash, our son takes it away, our brother takes it away. So part of this you give us in cash, and a lot of this you give it in the form of digital wallet. Just think about it, right? Digital wallet. So this is the reality on ground. These are feature phones. These are not your, Apples or whatever.
They're sort of,
And so that digital adoption is going on in that direction in a big way because of the reality on
The value of safety is significantly higher.
I mean, it's really fascinating. Amir, you wanted to jump in?
I think that's something which is really important, is the idea that omni-channel is something that is required in these nations. And I think there's a fallacy, again, around what people think about fintech in emerging markets, that suddenly everything is digital and there's no physical presence.
You're going to leapfrog and that's it.
That's my language, is BS. Because what happens is, if you look across any of these markets, Nubank, for example, is acquiring a telco. Why? Because of physical presence. You look at Bank Jago in Indonesia, they have a physical presence. You look at M&T Halan.
This is Salman Ali. I'm the CEO of VRG, a Pakistani company. So first of all, I totally agree that the telco and the banks, so they do need a third-party service provider to resolve bridging their service to each other, and that's what we are doing in Pakistan from the last 5 years. So my question with the Finance Minister of Pakistan, sir, we have a subscriber base of 196 million in Pakistan, out of which 54% are smartphone users and 46% are the feature phone users. Those feature phone users, who are nearly around 90 million people, is actually having a wallet, but they are not able to operate it. Why? Because of the fact that they don't have the smartphones with them. So what's the strategy behind this, that how we can just get them to the financial embryo and get those services for the banking side so that they can acquire those services while in the same electronic which M-Pesa did in Africa?
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So I think as you know, some of the new assemblers are coming in, and they're producing now phones which are not just feature phone, but they have the smart features built in. Having said that, we need more of those as we go forward. And I think from the telecom ministry, there is a real push now in terms of bringing in the financial incentivization as we go forward. Now, whether we can bring it in the upcoming budget, some of that, I guess, we'll know in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Thank you.
Fantastic. Any more questions? Hello.
Good morning. I'm Atik Anidiri. Previously, I co-founded a company that offers
With you. You've left the private sector to go into government. So you come with a completely different perspective of banking, of your experience throughout your career and bringing it to government. What would you say is absolutely vital in helping transform Pakistan, tied to the fintech space, focusing on how to get people to use less cash and be more plugged into the formal economy? What are you bringing to the table?
I'm not sure what I'm bringing to the table, but I can just share some of the experiences that I had in the private sector. First of all, I think all the use cases that we just discussed, I think we are all in wild agreement that this digital journey has to be accelerated. And the bank that I just left in Pakistan is the largest bank. In 2018, it had a client base of 12 million. And end of last year, it had a client base of 36 million. And it's not because of the infrastructure, the brick and mortar. It was all through the branchless banking and the digital journey. So we need to stay on that journey. The
It's
second
because
thing,
the bank became more digital?
yeah,
Okay.
and partnering. Because with fintech, I've always maintained you work with them, you partner with them, and you invest in them. And I think that ecosystem has to move forward. The other thing is, we talked about all the technology, but we should never forget people and process. Because I think these are what we need to change in attitudes, change in mindsets. if you have a broken process and you go ahead and automate it, that doesn't work, and that's where I think the fintech solution going into verticals becomes very important. The client buying behavior, obviously COVID changed it in a transformational way, right? I mean, they quote someone, right, that there are years when nothing happens and there are weeks in which years happen, and that's what happened with the client buying behavior, and we need to continue to now cater to that. And the third thing I would just say is timely decision, timely execution. Whether it's the regulatory agenda, financial incentives, the infrastructure, the availability of affordable smartphones as we go forward, and lastly, the international collaboration, what we're doing here, and then with the help of DCO in terms of bringing international best practices into Pakistan. Thank you.
Fantastic. It should be very lucky to have you joining in the ranks there, moving from the private sector. It's a big job, and great to have this conversation with you today. And thank you to all of you for joining us. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our panelists today. And I hope you have a very successful World Economic Forum. The next few days are going to be fantastic, filled with incredible conversations. I wish everyone all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. I don't know how I didn't